afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Here we go again. I know I've gotten to spend a lot of time with you. Kind of exciting. Hope you're excited. I'm excited, and I always love Wednesdays. It's the day that I get to hang with you. I get to play with flowers. And everybody's in the house, which is always fun. You know, so often I'm here by myself, or Ricky's here by herself, or it's just the two of us. When class is in session, of course, then it's everybody. But other than that, it's just Wednesdays is when we all show up. So in the studio with me, I have Teacher Michelle and Teacher Annie. They'll be watching YouTube and Facebook and verbalizing your questions. So please ask lots. Share your thoughts, comments. I want to hear from you. And then Ricky is here keeping us live, maintaining all technology, and keeping us on task. You know, like you will be live in 4 minutes. You have 3 minutes. Get ready. And we are ready. Then virtually, we've got Susie on YouTube, Caledonia on Facebook. Dove is with us from Texas, and David is with us as well. So now it's your turn. You know who we are. You know where we are. Who are you? And where are you from? If you're part of the Tulip Bunch, go ahead and put your tulip icon in there. If you don't know who the Tulip Bunch is, it's everybody who has taken one of our classes. So all of our students and graduates are automatically in the Tulip Bunch. And then it is everyone who is a member of the Flower Lovers Club. So if you are a student or a graduate in the Flower Lovers Club, then you're a tulip, and go ahead and add your icon. If you're not a tulip yet, let us know why. We want you to join us. Why are you not a tulip? It's a pretty cool bunch, I promise you. Lots of cool stuff. So as we get going, we are talking line today. Line in design, it is one of the elements of floral design. There are 5 elements. Arguably, it might be the most important, but yet I can think of another that I also say, oh, this is the most important. It sort of depends on who's speaking at the moment and the purpose of the design. But of the 5 elements, line is one of the things that we focus on quite a bit in the classroom because it allows you to format your arrangement. It allows the eye to flow through. It guides, it adds movement and direction. And so it adds a sense of order to the arrangement. Now, it can be in any type of arrangement. It can be even around, has line movement in it. The Hogarth curve, which is what I'm going to do first, has very dramatic lines. So I thought I'd start with that because it'd be very easy to see the lines. There's no distraction. It's like, oh, there's the line. So my first question to you, I told you had to introduce yourself and put your, hi, I'm Leanne, I'm from Portland, Oregon, here's my tulip. Put that in there, get it done. Get to know your people, it's a collaboration. Then my first question after that is, of the 5 elements, I gave you 1 line, so what are the other 4? Okay, so I gave you the line, there's 4 more, go. So while they're typing and I'm gathering flowers, Michelle and Annie, what's going on?
Well, so far we've got quite a few tulips chiming in. We've got both the East Coast and, well, not really the East, well, Vermont, I guess.
Vermont would be East Coast.
I had to think for a minute, sorry. We have all corners represented. How's that?
I was just saying it's the east side of the United States. Oh my gosh, that was a big stumble. It must be Live Wednesday.
It's Live Wednesday. But we've got Louisiana, North Carolina, Delaware, Kentucky, Texas, Indiana, Illinois, Oregon, Vermont, Washington, and I saw somebody else, but I lost them.
Oh.
New York.
Cool. So it's so nice to have you all here. Go ahead, keep introducing yourselves. Let's get to know each other. And if you see somebody that's close by to you, reach out to them and say, hey, I see you're in Dallas. I am too. We should have a cup of coffee while we watch Leanne live someday. Or maybe you have a glass of wine, or maybe you have a cup of lemonade or sweet tea, who knows. But get to know each other. This is your opportunity to network, meet your peers, and connect with your bunch. It's an opportunity that not often happens in the adult world. We oftentimes get isolated and separated, and we don't have that point of connection. And we want that for you. So I have some curly willow, and you'll notice it has leaves on it. The other I stripped already. It all had leaves on it. This is from Linda's farm, Barefoot Farms, Linda DePersis. You've seen her live with me on camera, but she actually brought in some curly willow that's current right now, which means it has leaves on it. But you can see how the leaves are already wilting. It doesn't hold well cut with the leaves on it at this stage. It just dehydrates so quickly. So it's better to go ahead and strip it, remove those leaves, and then go back, which is why in the summertime, you oftentimes don't see a lot of curly willow because it's all leafing out and it takes so much labor for them to defoliate that they're better just to leave it on the tree until it automatically sheds its leaves this autumn, and then they harvest and bring it in, and we have so much. It's just wonderful until next spring when it starts leafing out again. But if you talk to a farm, oftentimes they will provide it for you, and then you just have to do the stripping yourself, which isn't that hard. You can see, just took me a little while, but now it's usable and wonderful and ready to go. So it's my story on the willow. The Hogarth curve is really two lines that connect. So it is a C at the top, curve and in, and a C at the bottom going the opposite direction, dissected with the emphasis area. So you have a C going down and a C going up. So it gives you that S feel. In school, we do the Western line that has some of that same movement, but it's straighter as opposed to curvilinear. So when we talk about line, in the strictest sense, line is definitely just the distance between 2 points. So this is a line. In floral design, we think of it more as to what does that line do for us? And how does it work? Now this one's got a great C to it. This one's a little trickier, so I'm kind of looking to see which way I want to go. And I think I'm gonna go that direction. Or maybe do I want this one instead? This one's kind of a cool one too. You know, that's the hard part, is determining which branch is going to be the branch for you. So it's always a little tricky. And I'm not sure yet, so I'm going to play around with this. I'm going to put that one there so I don't lose it. And I'm going to put that one there so I don't lose it. And this one, I definitely want the top, because look how perfect that curves around there. I mean, that is just a perfect C to be the top of my Hogarth curve. So I don't want it to be so tall, so I'm going to cut it down. Now, if you love willow, if you get fresh willow like this, if you save the ends, you can actually root these. Root it and grow your own. And you could go into the willow business. Now, it needs a fairly wet environment, and so if you live in Arizona, that might not work. But here in the Pacific Northwest, all you got to do is put it in a vase of water, it roots, you put it in the dirt, it grows. You have to be a little careful because its roots are very invasive, and so could be a problem. I know in the classroom, we have curly willow every class because it's just a staple here in the Pacific Northwest. And every class, students take it home to root. And every class I say, be careful, because you don't want to put it next to sewer lines or water pipes or anything, because it'll just destroy them. You have to be really careful where you plant it. And we give you advice on that, because in flower school, we're always like, ooh, that's cool stuff, I want to grow it. You know, flower farmers, that's the way we are. So, bringing my upper C, and I'm coming a bit towards the back, because it's a one-sided arrangement. So there's my upper C, and then I need my lower C, which is going to come down this direction, or this direction. And I'm thinking it's this one, but I'm going to remove the side laterals. I'm going to prune those off. That's another thing that we learn, you know, in the classroom is sometimes you have the perfect branch, and sometimes you have to assist Mother Nature for that perfect branch, because a little bit of judicious pruning and all of a sudden you have a better branch than you started with, and it does exactly what you wanted to happen, which gives you that lower C. There we go. So if you want willow, join us in September. September 16th is the first day of class, and I can guarantee you we will be using willow in class, and there will be cuttings that you can take home to create your own willow farm someday. Okay, so now I have down, up and over. You can see this one's coming back up. I could try to manipulate it, but it's kind of doing its own thing. So we'll just kind of play with it a bit and see how it goes. So while I fuss, Michelle and Annie, what else is going on?
Well, we do have a first timer on YouTube today, G. Baldosano, and I apologize if I killed that name, but they are a first timer and wanted to say hi.
Well, hello there. I am glad you're here. Happy first time. We are a flower school, Floral Design Institute. Today we're talking line in design, and my first one's going to be a Hogarth curve. Tulips, get out there and do a welcome, because we love first timers. We love all of you. What a privilege to share an hour with you. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. I know that some of you come every single week. Some of you are super tulips that help out answering questions and guiding the discussions and reaching out to each other. I so appreciate that. If you are with us, which if you're hearing me, you are, go ahead. Say welcome to the first timers. Greet everyone. Help us out. Do your part, because it makes it more fun for all of us to get together and collaborate. So snapdragons have beautiful curvilinear lines naturally. Isn't that great? And just repeating that. I'll turn it so you can see how I shadowed one behind the other. A flower school term, shadowing. It makes this one more important. And then I can bring another in, maybe just a little taller, but I want to get the line right. Let's see which stem looks like the best stem. That one might be the best stem. There's always a question as to which is the best one. And how do you analyze to know which is the best one? It's always a challenge. So did they get the elements, the 4 elements? Have we got answers to that?
We do. We have answers. The first ones to get it correct on Facebook was Sherry, and then Victoria and Grace popped in just right back to back on YouTube with the correct answers.
So I'm going to assume you know they're correct since you are teacher Michelle. And so, and we teach this on, I believe it's the second day of class that we teach this. Form, the overall shape. Space, the areas between the flowers, and also the positive space filled by the flowers. Texture, the contrast in the tactile quality, so smooth to rough. So like I thought I would put some celosia in here, which is very rough, and then maybe some dahlias, they're a little smoother, and callas, which are much smoother so that you get different texture. So form, space, texture, line. It leads your eye through the arrangement. So I've started the line here with the Hogarth curve at the top. I'm going to bring the line down to the bottom with the callas, repeating that movement, but reversed. And then the last element is color. So form, space, texture, line, color. When you join us for flower school, that's on your test, I can guarantee you. So take note of that so that you know the answers to your test, so that you can get an A, because you deserve that. I love it when students get 100 on the test, because it means you paid attention in class, did a little bit of studying, and it also means that the teachers did their job teaching you what you're supposed to know. So that always makes me happy on both accounts. So, because it's our job to make sure that you have the answers. And sometimes I give them to you on live. So form, space, texture, line, color. And you have to be able to define them. Oh no! But you know what? It's easy because you use flowers and you do those every day while you're here. So it works out well. Yes, Michelle?
So you mentioned the start date of the next class, and there was a question about were there still openings. I didn't look today, so I'm not sure how many we have.
You know, I just sent everybody a letter, and so the letters went out yesterday to those that are registered. So if you are registered, you got a letter in the mail coming from me with my personal signature on it, because I did that yesterday. And at that point, I mailed out letters, and I believe I have 2 or 3 spots left, because one person was struggling to get their hotel set up, and so if that doesn't work, we're going to have 3. But currently I think we have 2, because I'm hoping it works out. I gave them information on another hotel option, because we've got so many hotels right by us, and then we're also in a residential area. Yeah, it's kind of cool. We're in a commercial / residential. It's the coolest area. And so many people use Airbnb because there are condos and apartments right here. So you have the full space to yourself. How cool is that? And it's easy because you don't need a car. It's a very walkable neighborhood, and it's safe. You know, there was the full moon. Did you guys all see the full moon? It was the last super blue moon. Get that all out in one sentence. Super blue moon. It was the last super blue moon till 2037. So it was important to me to get out to see it, because I couldn't see it from my house. So I went out walking at night by myself, because it was just needed to go see the moon. And you know what? It was safe enough to be out by myself walking. Now, I wasn't at 2 in the morning, I will tell you that. But it was dark because I was looking for the moon. And it was safe enough. I just went down, walked, saw it. I went down by the train station because it was beautiful. It was just rising at the train station. It was so lovely. And then I walked back home. And I live right by the school. So I can tell you it's a great neighborhood. It's a wonderful place to be. So now I started my downward movement. So now I have the 2 going on, and my emphasis is empty. That's where I have to fill in. And then I also want to exaggerate my curves. So I've got little things that I need to get going on here, and I'm talking so much that I'm not designing. Get going, Kessler. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys talk amongst yourself for a minute, and Michelle, let me know who's here. Annie, what names are you seeing out there? What are the people doing? And I'll design faster, or we're not going to get everything done. Oh my gosh.
One thing I wanted to mention is Cynthia said that she highly recommends attending in-person flower school, and she stayed in the hostel, which is about a 10-minute walk. So that was another good option as well.
Hi, Cynthia, and you are doing amazing things with your floral art. It's so fun to see your posts. They come up on, I think it's Facebook that I see them on, and I'm always like, oh, wow, look, Cynthia's doing this. And it looks like you're doing both independent self-entrepreneur and working with others so that you get that synergy of creative juices with other people. So I love that because it really does make a difference. And you're right, the hostel, oh my gosh, it's maybe 6 or 7 blocks, so it's walkable, and our blocks are short and it's flat, so you don't have to worry about going uphill or downhill. Yeah, no. We want it to be a fun walk, not a hard walk. But thanks, Cynthia, for the reference. I appreciate that very much.
Sarah had a question. She wondered if she happened to be in Portland, could she visit the school?
Yes, but it's summertime and we're a little bit flaky, so you definitely want to email me or call me and say, hey, I'm in Portland, I'd love to visit. And I'd say, sure, we're going to be there from 10 to 4, or gee, nobody's here today, or yeah, come on in, we're here 8 to 5. And if you're here on a Wednesday, you can even sit in the live studio audience and join us in person, which is kind of fun. That's always a thrill to see it from behind the scenes. And so, yeah, if you're in Portland, stop and visit. I know I've got some people coming in next month for a visit, and then somebody's coming in October, Jim. And then I just had one of our students that's coming to class stopped in and visited a couple weeks ago because they wanted to see where they were going to be ahead of time. So they actually came to Portland for the weekend and then went back home, and then they're coming back, I think, for the October class so that they can be part of. Yeah. Okay. You can see I'm filling in with a bit of foliage to reinforce the lines, and I still am missing right here. I don't want anything to come up because if I go up, it will destroy the lines that I'm creating with the Hogarth curve. So instead, I'm going to add dahlias, which are so wonderful, and let them come outward and upward. So I'm going to place it, and then I'm going to have to turn it and look at it. This is a design that I'm not able to do backwards. Most of them I'm able to function frontwards or backwards, but some of them, they're a little trickier, and I have to be able to see where I'm placing it to make it work. So dropping it in, I'm going to turn it to me. Sorry. Got to drop it a little further. It's too tall. There we go. And then another one.
Well, while you poke those in, I wanted to give a couple shout outs. We have one of the trees with us today. Marie is on. And I just did Lila's advanced graduation certificate.
Oh, Lila, I took a peek at that before I handed it off to Michelle. I thought, ooh, I want to see how you did. And you did so well. And I know your certificate is going to get printed tomorrow. We haven't printed it yet, but it'll be printed tomorrow. And we'll get it signed and mailed off to you. I've got a stack on my desk that we've got to get ready to go out the door. So congratulations, Lila. So proud of you. And hello, trees. Or there might be more trees out there. That is a term we put together for a group that took the Designing for Competition and Evaluation class several years ago, and they became the trees. They were a subgroup of the tulips. So now you can see I have an emphasis area that pulls your eye from the front to the back, all the way across. Now all I need to do, that sounds so simple, but all I need to do is finish concealing my mechanics and add any accent materials. And I could break the line of the container. That's something you learn in your very first lesson. So if you join us for Flower School online or in person, your very first lesson is learning how to incorporate lines, binding point, break the line of the container, and to make sure that you have proper stem insertion. So you would be able to do the mechanics that I'm teaching right now before you go home the first day of flower school. So that's always kind of fun to know that you are actually accomplishing something at the very beginning and taking home flowers on the very first day. When you do it at home, your house gets filled with flowers because you're making your arrangements and enjoying them. And when you do it here, you're making them, enjoying them, and I make you take them home because I don't want them all to stay here. And if you're staying in a small condo or in a hotel room, it gets really flower-filled quickly. So the neighborhood peoples love our students because the students give away so many flowers because there's too many to take home. It's just amazing. So you can see adding Galix around the bottom. Then I said I wanted to use the celosia. This is local grown celosia, and it's kind of interesting because usually when you get it, you just get the head like that. But this time it came with the head and the buds. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to save the buds for something else because they don't belong in this particular arrangement. But I did want the heads, so I'm just going to save those. Don't throw anything away. And then tuck these in.
So, Leanne, question. I already know the answer to this, but there was some chat about, oh, you're putting dahlias in foam. What? Can you do that?
Yeah, dahlias, callas, snapdragons, all of it can go in foam. Now, you may be foam free, and so you could do it without foam, but I find the Hogarth curve is easier in foam. So that's why we do that. It just seems to hold the stems in place better when you do the Hogarth, but dahlias actually do fine in foam if they are fresh when you get them. They need to be fresh. They can't be dehydrated already. You have to do your proper care and handling, which we teach that in class again from day one. And so if you do proper care and handling, get them inserted the minimum of 2 inches, then they're gonna do just fine. Yeah, I promise you. Be brave, try it, see what you think. Yeah. So I'm going to save my buds for later, and then I broke one. I'll put him, he's a little bit smaller. I'll move him towards the back so that I bring a little bit of the color onto the back side. So now I've got that pinky glow of coral pink, and then the more orangey, and it pulls through with the color of the callas and snapdragons so that I have unity, which is not an element, it is a principle. So, okay. So I'm going to set this one aside because I've got 2 more I want to do, and I spent a half hour on that one. What am I doing? So what do you guys think? Do you like the Hogarth curve? Is it one you think you would do again? Let me know. If you like it, put some hearts in there. If you hate it, don't say anything. No, I do want to know. If you don't like it, tell us, because we won't do a Hogarth again, because we want to do what you want to see. So definitely put your story there and let me know. Inquiring minds. I'm going to move these aside so that they're out of the way. Oh, I know what I was going to do in that. I forgot. I had some of the beautiful maple that Teacher Annie had brought in last week, and it was still holding so pretty, and I thought the color was so grand, so I am going to pop some of that in real quick so you can see. But I won't finish because I want to go on to the next arrangement. But I want you to see how cool this color is with this, because it just ties it all together. Get it in the right spot. There we go. And maybe a little bit over here, because it unifies the 2 sides and just adds that pop of brightness. Do you like that? I do. I think that's kind of cool. So I'll be adding more of that later and getting this polished so that it looks fabulous. Ricky will be taking the professional photos and sharing those out with you tomorrow. But for now, we're going to go on and make another arrangement. So while I pull stuff, what else is going on out there?
Well, everyone loved your arrangement and how unique it was as well.
So I guess we have to do a Hogarth again sometime?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Yeah, it's a big winner on YouTube as well. Been loving the color combo of how the pink and the orange read on camera.
Wasn't that fun? Because I started with just all orange, and then I thought, it's kind of boring. What am I going to do? I thought, well, I could add yellow. And I thought, I don't really want to add yellow. And so then I found that coral pink dahlia, and I was like, voila, that's it. It has to be. Then this is the other cool flower I found. Let's see if I can get it into the close-up camera. There we go. That show okay, Ricky? Mm-hmm. Good. So this is a pineapple lily. You know, and it looks like a little pineapple. Okay? It's called pineapple lily. And it was a new one to me. I don't know a lot about it. Some of them had a little darker florets, some lighter. And I think that's probably according to the age of the bloom. Don't know, because it's not one that I've worked with a lot. But I thought, how cool is that? So I got the pineapple lily and thought it was perfect because it gives me a lovely line to work with. And when you're doing line design, you can do it with a line flower, but you can also do line with a mass flower. And so then I found these zinnias. I thought they matched so well. So I thought the zinnias can be my line with a mass flower, and the pineapple lily can be my line with a line flower, and then they go together. Design-wise, I was trying to push myself beyond just the normal things. Like we teach in classroom the Western line, the vertical, parallel lines, formal linear, so many different, asymmetrical, symmetrical, lots of different types of line design. And so I wanted to do something a little different, but still focus on line. So this one I thought I would do the crescent. And so my container, you've seen before, it's one of my favorites off the shelf. It's just a vintage compote-y thing. And I filled it with floral netting that I taped in place, and adding water that I've mixed with flower food so that it will stay well. Yes, Teacher Annie.
Well, Abel on Facebook has a question. What does that pineapple lily smell like? Does it smell like pineapple?
It really doesn't have any fragrance. No. And I had to look it up. I knew it was a pineapple lily. That much I knew. I didn't really know anything else about it. And I was like, okay, I better validate that what I know is true, because I could have been wrong. I know, not Leanne, she's never wrong, but that's not true. You've watched live before and have seen me be wrong. But it is a pineapple lily. But what I found that was interesting to me, because I had in my mind what family it was in and what it might be related to, which I'm not going to tell you because it would be wrong, and I don't want somebody to go, oh, but Leanne said, and that is wrong. But it is in the asparagus family. Is that so weird? It's in the asparagus family. Who would have thunk? I wouldn't have thunk. I didn't thunk. Repeating my lines on this side to begin my crescent, okay? And working a little harder to get my placement, because I don't have foam and my floral netting is what I'm using to hold things in place. I shadowed one behind the other. You can see I did the same thing to create depth in the arrangement. And then I could add a little bit more. I'm going to shorten one. It almost hurts to do this, but I'm going to wait and see. I could do a shorter one right here to add some more movement, but I may use something else just because it hurts me to cut that short right now. I think, oh, I can't do that. But if I go taller, it's too big for the container. So that's the challenge you always have as a florist. It's like, oh, I want this, or I want that. You can't have it. So there. Teacher Michelle.
So Lisa had a question. She wants to know when we go to market to get flowers for live, do we have a list, or we just let creativity take over?
A little bit of both. It's funny because Teacher Annie was here yesterday, and she said, so what are you after when you go to market tomorrow? And I said, I have absolutely no idea. Because I didn't know even where I was going. I hadn't moved that thought into my brain yet. I usually, the night before, start thinking about it so that I sleep overnight and it comes into my brain as some little divine wisdom. But I hadn't thought. And then when I got up this morning, I had no divine wisdom. I was like, dang, it didn't come into my brain. What am I going to do now? So I had no list, and I just went and walked around until things spoke to me. And the first thing that spoke to me was the pineapple lily. I thought, oh, I haven't used that this year at all, and it's new and it's so fun. And then it was, okay, what will go with that? And that's when I found the zinnias, which I love zinnias. So I was like, okay, well, it's going to be the zinnia. So that's where it is, just looking for creative inspiration from what I see. At the same time, I did have a huge list with me that is things that we need photographs of for the website. Because, you know, we have that flower care and handling library and a floral identification library, all the different informational resources that are available to you on the website. And we have a section with flower information. And David and Ricky have been working diligently to update that with new pictures, new varieties, new things. So yesterday, Ricky handed me a list, like, this is what you need to hunt for. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of things. But I did find some, and we'll get those shot tomorrow. But it's kind of fun. So I go with a list, but that oftentimes frustrates me because you can't find what you're looking for. And then I go with just my eyes to see what feels good. So now I have 2 lines, one done with a mass flower, one done with a line flower coming in. Now, some people call this just the squashed arrangement, where you make the short stuff in the center and you have 2 come up. I don't like that. That doesn't sound very glamorous, the squashed arrangement. Looks like somebody sat on it. But by doing the crescent, brings it back to classic format, which is to have 2 lines coming up and then a lower emphasis area. So it's not just squashed, it's intentional. So, and then I was on a dahlia mode. Here we are. So I got the dahlias again because I thought that could be very pretty, tucked down low. So Annie, Michelle, what else is happening out there while I design a little faster, because I'm not going to get to my last one if I don't hurry up?
I think there's just a lot of questions about the pineapple lily.
It's a cool one. And if you Google pineapple lily, it'll come up. It has, I can't remember the botanical name. I did look at it and I was going to.
Eucomis or something?
Yeah, eucomis.
Okay.
Yes, that is it.
Someone said it was easy to grow. I bet that depends on what region you're in. Jill on Facebook is asking if pineapple lily is long lasting and if you knew approximately how much it is per stem. But I know that varies market to market.
That's going to vary a lot from market to market. So per stem, I wouldn't want to guesstimate on that, just simply because it varies so much based on seasonality and your location. I didn't have to pay shipping to get it here. It was a locally grown item, so I know that saved me some money on that. As far as long lasting, yes. I have had it at home. I bought it a year or 2 ago, the first time I was exposed to it. And whenever I find something the first time, I buy it and I just take it home. And I advise you all, when you see something for the very first time, even if you just buy 1 stem, take it home and watch it. I usually take home at least 2 stems, and I put 1 in a vase of water and 1 in floral foam so that I can see if it will hold in foam or not, and then if it holds better in the vase of water. But the pineapple lily held very well in both situations, both in the foam and without the foam. So I was very pleased with it. Teacher Michelle.
So on Facebook, Blooms by Keeks had a question about, if you don't grow your own flowers, where are some good places to shop for cut flowers? And do we help people with that when they're in the classes?
Yeah, great question. Sourcing flowers is a full-time job for every florist, because even when you finally think you have the perfect spot, something changes. Either that business got so busy that they don't have enough for you, or theirs is out of season and you still need it, so you have to find another resource, and it can be really, really tricky. So yes, we help guide you on locating sources in your local market. I know that our online students oftentimes report in that their farmers market during the season is a huge resource that works incredibly well. Some others end up working with a local florist in town who takes them under their wing, And then there are a few wholesale houses that will sell to our students because they want to encourage the next generation of florists. Wholesale is not always your best pricing option though, simply because you have to buy in larger quantities than what you truly need. So sometimes that's not the best resource. It can be the most fun resource because there's so many flowers and so many things to see. You're just gonna go crazy. In fact, you can go too crazy. Your pocketbook might not like you. You might be eating top ramen for the entire month because you have to pay your flower bill. But that's nothing against top ramen, you know. Been there, done that. Sometimes flowers are more important. And so, yeah, we help you with that and guide you. I know there's a whole, in the online class, there's a whole chapter on just flower sourcing, what to look for, who to reach out to, and then how to choose the freshest flowers. There was a few things I wanted to buy today, and then I did my checking. It's like, I'm not gonna buy those, they're not gonna live, not gonna last, not gonna be a good thing. No, 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 no. And so we do teach you that in class. How do you know if you're buying fresh? Because sometimes they're pretty, but they're short-lived. So if you think this is good information, one, come to flower school, okay? Two, share this video out. The more that you spread the word of FDI, the more we can do. Push the like button on YouTube. There's that little thumbs up. Push that. So share, like, thumbs up, tag a friend, come to flower school, join me for a cup of coffee. And if you can't do that, join the Flower Lovers Club, because all of those things help us to provide free education for you, and it gives you one more resource. Plus, flower school right now is the perfect time because florists are gearing up for the holidays. It'll be the busy time before we know it. We're just at the last throes of the wedding season, and then all of a sudden Labor Day hits and you get the final weddings, and then the retail takes over and everything gets crazy for all the holidays. Teacher Michelle.
So could you, well, I guess I am just by saying it, if Caledonia and Susie would post a link to the class coming up, because there's some questions on how to register and the cost. And then I had a message on how long are the classes in person?
In person is 3 weeks for the basic course and then 1 week for the advanced course. So if you do them together, it's 4 weeks total. And if you divide them, it'd be the 3 week, and then you come back for another week. I know this time I'm kind of surprised because my advanced class has the same number of students as my basic class, but they're not the same people, because a lot of people took the online for the basic course because they couldn't come for 3 weeks, and then they're coming to join us in person for the advanced course because they can do that for 1 week. Good way of doing it. So question for you, what's wrong with this arrangement? There's a flaw. It is true. Does anybody know? I'll give you about 2 seconds, and while you do that, I will put in some things to cover mechanics, because that's not what's wrong. That's just a design that I hadn't got that far yet. But there's one thing wrong with this arrangement that I did intentionally. Okay.
Tricky.
I know. Anybody get it?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, I won't force you. If you are still thinking, I will go ahead and tell you, because you may not know. If you've not been to flower school, you wouldn't have this answer. The reality is, when you're working with yellow and pink, which is basically what this is, the yellow and then the hot pink, kind of yellow, that's not a full color harmony. Yellow and pink is 2/3 of a triad. So to have it be a proper full color harmony, I need to add blue. So yellow, pink, blue. And so I did set out a little bit of orangium because Annie had set the studio for me, and I came in, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, 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 and this, and I go, shoot, I don't have the right colors, I don't have a full color harmony. And I thought, oh well, that's okay, we're talking line, it's just line. And I thought, well, Leanne, you can't do that. You can't do just line, you have to do the whole story. So to get my color harmony, I've got to go back and add in some Orangium to make it have a little bit of blue. Plus that adds texture. So now I've completed a color harmony, added texture, and created a little more impact to the design. And I would just add it in clustered so that there's a bit of impact there. And then maybe come back and add it on this side as well. I've got to turn it to me for a second and I'll bring it back to you so you can see. But adding in just a bit to bring the color through and keeping it close to the emphasis area so it unifies the two lines coming through. So now I have line, emphasis, space, texture, and color. All 5 elements in one arrangement, the way they're supposed to be, and correctly implemented. So again, off camera, I'll do some doctoring to make sure that I get it to perfection, because as I'm walking and talking and doing all this at once, it's never perfect. So I'll fluff it and decide which is the front and which is the back. Because like right now, I'm looking at the back and I kind of like it. It's like, wow, that's kind of cool. Maybe that's the front. And I think, oh, but the Orangium's over here. This is the front. I could put some more Orangium here, and then this is the front. But isn't that a great design when you can't even tell which is the front and which is the back? That means it's both sides beautiful. Magic! Yeah. So I will figure out which is the front and the back, and I don't know. What do you think of that one? Do you like it? So 2 line designs with the element of line. One of the very first things that we teach you in flower school. And I have time to do the last one. There are different types of line. And so let's go ahead. So yeah, pineapple lily. Now you all have to plant it and grow it. If you have an environment like the Pacific Northwest here, you can do it because this is local grown. So it's around here somewhere. I don't remember which farm it was, so I can't tell you if it was north or south or east or west, but it was in the vicinity. And so if you're around here, you can grow it. If you're not around here, Google it and determine, because it is a beautiful, long-lasting flower that is fun to design with. And I think you'd enjoy it very much.
I have a question on the online classes. Can you take them if you live out of the country?
Oh, man. Yes. Yeah. And in fact, that's what's been so fun. Some of you were in flower school with me many years ago when we did online, before there was an online. We actually sent you VHS tapes. Yeah, that's how old we are. But for people outside of the country, the shipping, oh my gosh, you could do it, but by the time we shipped you your VHS tapes, it was so costly. But now, with everything streaming, it costs you the same as it does somebody living around the block from us. And that always makes me laugh, because people, their lives are so busy that sometimes taking 3 weeks to come to flower school isn't an option, even though they live right here where we are, and they do the online class, because that's what they can do with their busy schedules. And so you can be in Australia, you can be UAE, you can be Spain, you can be Mongolia. We've had students from all these places. I'm always just amazed. You can be Iceland, and you can stream it. The only rule is that you have to have good internet access. So if you don't have good internet access, it's not really viable. But check out. I mean, it could be you can use your library's internet access. Maybe you go to Starbucks and use theirs if you don't have it at home. But as long as you have internet access, you can do it. I have some students that do the whole program from their telephone, and it works. that, I'm so excited. Our online dashboard, the student dashboard, was designed for ourselves. It's proprietary, nobody else has it. It's very cool, and it works so well. It's just fabulous. It includes videos. All the reading has been digitized, so it's right there. You don't have to carry a book around with you. You can look at the recipes on your phone when you're going shopping, so you don't have to hunt as to, oh, where's that list that I made? No, it's just right there on your phone. And then when you do your lessons, you just submit them straight into your student portal, and it shows up in the teacher's dashboard. They can look at it. They can send you a full summary of what you can do to improve, what is perfection, basically just what is your next steps, and you can move right on. So yes, you can do it from anywhere without any issues. This arrangement, I'm doing parallel insertion rather than designing lines into an emphasis area. I'll still have an emphasis, but instead of everything feeding into it, I'm working parallel. We do parallel in both the beginning and the advanced class, so it's not something that you would only get in one or the other. In the beginning class, we start you out with your knowledge and get you through all your theory and all the different design styles and techniques. And then as you move on into advanced, we take it just to a more advanced understanding. So we teach you line in basic, and then we teach you advanced line in advanced, so that you take the skills and you start from wherever you are, which might be 0, and then you work your way through methodically till you get to the end, and all of a sudden you're way more than 0. You know so much. You can see how I've got it two-sided. I don't know what's going to be the front again. Oh well. Then some beautiful, I believe it's foxtail grass. Am I making that up? Is that true? I don't know. I'm going to call it foxtail grass. If one of you know, you can let me know. But I think it kind of looks like a foxtail, don't you think? Maybe we'll just do Name It Yourself Day. And this is going to be my Name It Myself Day. Unless somebody can prove me wrong, I'll say it firmly and loudly. It must be true.
Say it with conviction, yes.
Say it with conviction.
Is it fountain grass?
What?
Fountain grass?
Fountain grass? I don't.
No, I think it's more.
Fountain grass is floofier, yeah. I like fountain grass. We'll have to get that for the class. They would love fountain grass. Ooh, I'll see what I can find. I would bet there's fountain grass in September. That would be, yeah. September is such a perfect time because you get all, oh, I broke that. You get all the late summer flowers, and you also get the early autumn flowers because we haven't had a frost yet. And so you get the best of both worlds. I think it's one of my favorite sessions because of that. It's just so much available. And we do a lot of local product. But then we also bring in imports because we want you to touch things that maybe aren't available locally. And it's important to me that you have touched it while you're here. So you'll be dealing with dozens of different varieties. When you study from home, the summer-fall period is good for the same reason. You have more available to you locally than you would other times of the year. And then for both online and classroom, the bonus of doing it this time period is it's perfect for going straight to work when you're done. Whether you want to do entrepreneurial, self-employment, or if you want to work for someone else, we're moving into the busy time, so it works fabulously.
Looks like the grass is Pennisetum.
That is correct.
Pennisetum, yeah.
Channisetum, okay. That is correct. I recognize that name now. I liked mine better, but
I do too, actually. But if they ask for that at their wholesaler,
they're not going to get it. So Channisetum, thank you. Thank you, thank you. You can always say, oh, but my teacher said, and they'll laugh at you. They'll say, well, your teacher is wrong.
You were talking about the online classes, Leanne, and Victoria, who's a student on YouTube, says She loves being able to watch and reread the segment, rewatch and reread the segments multiple times, or go back and watch something you learned months earlier.
You know, there's truth to that, having that resource available to you to go back and refer to. And you can go back and refer to what the teacher said about your submission so that you can see if there's a consistency. Do you consistently have weak line? Do you consistently have incorrect spacing? So then you know what you want to work on. So yes, it is a wonderful resource. The other bonus of doing it online is, especially for people with English as a second language, or possibly they're deaf, you can watch it multiple times and capture it better. It's still very visual, and there is a full transcript of everything that's said, so you can read it as well as hear it. So it can be a real good learning tool for those where English is a second language, because it's a little tricky as you're trying to watch the visual and get the concept. But since it is so visual, you watch the video, then you read the transcript, and then you watch the video again, and you go, oh, got it, I understand, and it works perfectly. So yeah, that is something I hear frequently, that is such a wonderful resource that, you know, it's like, it's worth the price of admission, yeah. Adding a little bit of sedum down at the bottom to create some basing. And I'm keeping it very, very low so that I keep the design focused on line, because line was our concept. Remember that. We don't want to screw that up. So you've got about 2 minutes. If you have a question or if you want to say something, get it typed in there, because we'll be stopping here shortly. And I don't want to leave you with unanswered thoughts. I'll ask you a question. What's for dinner? You know, I didn't get that out there. What was our food story tonight? Who's having what? It was funny because yesterday I had lunch with Teacher Michelle, and she was debating back and forth about whether she should get the tuna salad because it looked sort of good. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do that because I can do that at home. And Guy got home, and guess what I had for dinner? Tuna salad. It was so funny because I thought, oh my gosh, was David listening to us? It was just like, oh man, it cracked me up. It's like, well, I made you tuna salad for dinner. I'm like, oh, cool.
Oh my goodness, I want to come to these people's houses.
What do we have?
Oh my gosh, on YouTube we've got pork chops and roasted summer squash, 2 porks, a pork medallion with baked potatoes and salad, we got a leg of lamb,
Oh my
spaghetti
gosh.
squash, Italian sausages, grilled cheese sandwich. I'm with you, Grace.
Oh, I love grilled cheese. That's one of my most favorite foods.
And then Facebook's got a lot.
Oh my gosh, good. So it sounds like you guys are eating well. That's important. You've got to have nutrition to be creative. So that is good, good, good. So this design shows you how you can do multiple lines that don't have to converge in your emphasis area. They can be parallel. So it's a different type of line. And everything I've used is static, which means it's just straight, repetitive, static movement. I didn't add any dynamic movement. If I add dynamic, I would have to add in some curvilinear lines to contradict the form. Now we're talking more advanced studies. That's the advanced class, so I'm going to stop there. I will finish this, cover up the rest of my foam, make sure all my mechanics are concealed, create an emphasis area. But for now, I'm going to stop with this one and let you all go on to your fine dining, because that sounds great. I'll find out what I'm having for dinner when I get home, David. But until then, thank you, Caledonia. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Michelle and Dove and David and you. I'll see you all next week. Next week's going to be fun. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm actually very excited about it. I'm I won't tell you. It's going to be grand. So I'll see y'all next week. You get out there, enjoy your dinner, and do something you love. Bye for now.